Hello everyone, Sarah Pacaro, Rapid Transformational Therapist, and I'm going to share with you today some information about narcissists and empaths. So if you've been with a narcissist and you've been researching, trying to figure out or discover why, oftentimes the beginning of your journey starts with trying to figure them out and trying to figure out this treatment that you've received from them, why they do this to you. And that is the magical question, why? Why they do this to you, but then why you allow it to be done to you. Because we teach others how to treat us, and this is kind of a foreign concept and a difficult one until it's not. So to the information we're going to talk about today is how empaths protect themselves from narcissists, because you realize, oh, I'm an empath. And sometimes I hear that phrase from people and they're like, well, it's just because I'm an empath. And you think, okay, if you've received this tag or this hello, my name is empath, that you have to just be treated like this in life, and that's absolutely not true at all. You can have empathetic qualities and also have boundaries and also not get walked over and mistreated by people. So if you have discovered that you are an empath or that you have empathetic traits, which most kind, loving, forgiving, caring people who do, which are magnets for narcissists, how do you protect yourself from them? Well, it's no secret that if you are an empathetic person or an empath, that you feel these feelings and this obligation to save the world, which is why you stay in a relationship with a toxic and unhealthy person, because you think and believe that your love can save them, because you see these qualities and these strengths in them and you want them to see them within themselves. But anyone can only love another person to the degree that they love themselves, and narcissists are severely damaged. It comes from childhood abuse, and because of that, they don't love themselves and they don't believe that they are lovable, therefore they never let it in, and you think, feel, and see that they are, if they could only just stop XYZing and all this stuff. So you believe that you can save them, and you're a fixer and a helper and a saver if you see these empathetic qualities within yourself. So with this, if you are being manipulated by a narcissist, this sense of obligation to save them becomes your identity, and you take this on as the narcissist is playing the role of victim in this relationship to access to the nth degree, and they are manipulating and contriving all these things and using your empathetic qualities and traits against you. So that's a really, really heavy weight to carry, and you have decided, maybe consciously or subconsciously, to take on the burden of another person's choices in life. So the narcissist is out there manipulating and cheating and lying, and you're taking on this burden of their cheating and of their lying because you're an empath, because you're a feeler, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to save them. It is critical for empaths to understand this dynamic, and that the narcissist it's a personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder. So it's a distortion of a personality, and we can have space for them, we can hold love for them, but it is not an empath's job to take on all of these things that they are creating in their life and living these lies. And the person that you're trying to help actually doesn't even exist. It's the mask, the facade that you were trying to help, that they are this person who's, trying to get help and going to counseling and knows what they're doing and knows that they're doing wrong. All of that is a mask. It's all lies. So the person you're actually trying to help doesn't really even exist. And that's a really heavy burden. So this fact alone, or this pill, is hard enough to swallow on your own. So we're going to talk about 7 more painful truths that if you're an empath, you just must face the reality of, something to my eye, that you must eventually face about narcissists to move out of this space of like, I can fix them, I can change them. If I stay, things will get better. If we insert whatever change you think needs to be made, they will get better, the relationship will get better, or that this perceived life that you think that they're going to go have with the new supply that's going to be better than the life that you have with them. Clear all of that out once you understand these truths. The first one is that a narcissist is a tortured soul who needs your special kind of love. And what this means is that they need you as supply. And what I mean by that, they are a tortured soul. whatever experience that they had that created this disorder for them, or this way of being for them, these traits that they now project out because of the feelings that they have for themselves inward, they need a special kind of love. They need an empath. They need a codependent. They need supply. It's air for them. Almost every empath or empathetic person who's been in a relationship with a toxic person or a narcissist has held the belief and thought and truly believed, if I just show them how deeply I love them, or how unconditionally I can love them, then they will finally have this breakthrough moment. They'll have this epiphany where they realized, wow, they are special and they are truly one of a kind. And all of this love that you have given them, you believe will be returned to you after all. Like, you will finally just go, oh, wow, they finally get it. And then you'll get that happily ever after Cinderella story that you're looking for. Here's the thing. Love does have amazing, profound, tremendous healing qualities, but love will do nothing to change a narcissist's behavior or their motives within the relationships. Narcissists or toxic people, think about bankruptcy. You go empty. You've been charging, and you don't have the money to pay back what you've been charging. It's the same relationship and dynamic here. Narcissists are morally bankrupt. They don't have the morals to pay back all the morals that they've taken from you. And their behavior is not going to ever come back and be given the way that you have been given it. So because they are morally bankrupt, they don't have this money or these morals or this love to give back that you've been giving to them. It's not like, the way you're supposed to use a credit card is you charge it and then you pay it, and you charge it and you pay it. This give and take, this balance. They're charging with no intent or possibility of repaying. But empaths think, it's okay, I'll continue to let them charge. Someday they'll pay me back. Narcissists don't work like that. Toxic people don't work like that. They are morally bankrupt, and they are not going to appreciate the things that you do for them. They're not going to see it as, wow, thank you so much for doing everything you've done for me. Instead, they feel completely entitled to just continue charging without ever repaying. So whether it's love or devotion that's directed towards them, almost every person or supply that the narcissist has ever had or been involved with, gave them this love, gave them, whatever it was that they wanted or needed. And sadly, the narcissist considered love and devotion completely disposable. They can throw it away. I've shared the analogy before that you're like a toaster to them. You're an object. You toast. Like, that's it. And when the toaster breaks or stops working, they throw it in the trash and they get a new one. And that's how you are to them. You are giving them love. You're giving them devotion. And you're disposable. They never intend to repay it. So think of it like a debt, like a bankruptcy that's never going to be repaid. And when you understand that, something within you clicks, and you need to start giving that love and devotion to yourself. And that's why I talk about healing from within, and that's what that means, to really go within and discover, why was I so willing to freely give it to someone who never ever gave it back to me? Not truly, and don't get me wrong, they will make you feel, think, and believe that they gave it back to you, but you know within, it was ever actually never given back to you. So the second thing to know and understand, if you're an empath and you have found yourself in a relationship or a position with a narcissist, know that although everyone admires and appreciates your compassionate nature, your empathetic nature, it also makes you highly, highly attractive to narcissists. We've shared this analogy before. They can smell it, they can scent it, they can feel it. Oh, there's an empath. That's the one I'm going to go for. If you're standing in a lineup of all these other suitors or supply, they're going to go after the one that is the most empathetic, because they know this about them. And if everyone in the world boasted empath qualities, we would live in this amazing, beautiful, loving world, and sadly we don't. The world is full of manipulators. It is full of people who seek out and exploit people with empathetic traits and characteristics, such as these that we've been talking about. So taking criticism to heart. If you're a person, an empath, and you take criticism to heart, you're going to reflect on how their words and actions might affect other people. So they are saying this, and you're like, gosh, they're right. Maybe I should change. All the gaslighting and the manipulation, you really believe, and you take their words to heart, and you think it's you, and there's something within you that needs to change to make everything better, including the way that they treat you. Being highly empathetic, you have the ability to sense and feel emotions of others, and you respond to them instinctively in ways that help others in need. And so the narcissist, that's this form of supply. They can make you think and feel a certain way, and then you give based upon that. They make you feel like there's a void, that something's empty, and then you take on this job to fill that void. And having a high level of tolerance and going, well, no one's perfect, and I'm not perfect either. You take on this high level of tolerance, like you are forgiving, you're highly forgiving, you're empathetic, and you can, I hate this term, but like you can take being beaten down. You can do that because you're strong and you're empathetic. But you embrace like the second, third, fourth, millionth chances and this lifestyle of other people that it's okay, they can go do whatever they want to do. And you know what? When they come back knocking on the door, I will kindly, lovingly open that door and let them back in because of this level of tolerance. So it's kind of like developing this thick skin when you're on your journey to healing and saying, no, last time was the last time. And they're like, yeah, inside, but they're like, I know you said last time was the last time, but this time's different, I swear. And maybe the waterworks come out, and narcissists look for this trait. They look for cooperativeness, they look for compassion in their partners, because they know that they themselves don't possess these traits, even at their most basic fundamental level. And so excessively cooperative partners will put in the work of two people. A relationship requires two people. Give and take from both of them. They're not going to do that. They're only going to take. But an empath does the work of two people, because the narcissist knows, even at the most basic level, I don't have what I need to make this work, but they do. And they're going to play both roles in this relationship, and I can just sit here and take and take and take and take from it however they want. So an empath will do that, and they will do that without question. And the narcissist is only going to project, and the empath will project their desirable traits and needs onto the narcissist. So it's a highly dysfunctional dynamic, and thereby the empath will fill the voids and the gaps in the relationship to make the relationship seem and feel more normal. So, whereas saying, hey, toxic person, it's your job to do this, they will just simply do it themselves. Instead of asking the toxic person, you need to do this. This is not my job. Because they think, I don't want to seem bitchy, or I don't want to seem overbearing, or too, I've got it. I'll take care of it. Even though you're working with a plate that's already full. So this high level of cooperativeness is the most significant trait that toxic people, narcissists look for from their partners, because they know intuitively that people who have those traits are going to stay in the relationship way longer than they should, like beyond reasonable limits. Any reasonable person would have gotten out a long time ago if they were treated that way. But an empathetic person is like, well, it's just that, and they make excuses. And they take this on because they are so above and beyond cooperative. If that's a word. Yeah. You know what I mean. They will just take it on themselves. Okay, here's the thing. As an empath, you have deep thoughts because you have deep feelings. And you think, well, because I'm in a relationship with a person, I can share my deep thoughts with them and all the ways that I think they could step up to the plate to improve the relationship. And I want to share that with them. I want to explain that to them, thinking that they'll hear it and go, wow, babe, you're right. You're so right. The narcissist is not interested in your deep thoughts. There were so many things in my last relationship, even a hand signal like this, I used to get all the time. I would get it in text and emojis. I'd get it like, cool bruh, and it was such a dismissive, like shaking off. Because I would say, hey, can we please talk about this? Like, if we talk about this, things will get better and we'll be able to finally work this out like you're saying you want to. And we're not, can you please just hear me? Hear where I'm coming from? Understand where I'm coming from? Empaths are persons who really feel, they're thinkers, they're feelers, and they have highly evolved viewpoints. They're kind of big picture. If we just understand this and can come together and cooperate in this, they think it's about people, they think it's about the world, and if they can just express this, then everyone will understand and everything will be much better off, because then we'll all be kumbaya working together. And it's hard to find many things that make an empath feel more alive than this kindred spirit, than having a place and a person to share these deep thoughts and opinions and experiences with. And they want this from the toxic person, from the narcissist. The narcissist put on a good show, pretending to be enlightened, pretending to be advanced in these modern philosophies. And the truth about them is that they are extremely, extremely closed-minded. And it's hard to think that because they pretended that they're so open, but really they're closed-minded and extremely closed off, that is the truth. But that's the mask. They seem so worldly and to know so much about so many things, but really they're not. And here's the worst thing: once a relationship begins to go down and begins to sour after that initial love bombing phase, the narcissist will mock and ridicule the empath's views or theories. Where in the beginning, in the love bombing phase, when you were seeing that mask and that facade, they agreed and they were like, wow, I've never met anyone like you before. Wow. Later on, when that mask slips, you think this person has all these same worldly amazing views and beliefs that you do. And then they mock you later and they ridicule you for having those same things. You were being genuine and authentic. That was and is who you are. And you thought it was who they were, but it's not. And now you're being mocked and ridiculed because of this. So here's the fourth one. In spite of the initial attraction, whatever it was, whether it was physical, whether it was spiritual, whether it was emotional, all the love bombing made you feel it was filling a void within you. You didn't love yourself like that. The narcissist is not your soulmate. I hear this a lot. What about a twin flame? So here's soulmate. I'm going to read the definition of soulmate. So definition of soulmate, as defined, is a person with whom you have an immediate connection in this moment that you meet. You meet them and this wave washes over you and these butterflies, and you feel this. I've never felt like this about someone. This connection with them is so strong, and you were drawn and pulled to them in a way that you've never ever experienced before. And this connection develops over time, and you experience a love that you feel is so deep, so strong, so complex. And you begin to doubt that you ever loved anyone the same way that you love this person who you're calling your soulmate. Your soulmate understands you and connects with you in every way and on every level, which brings a sense of peace and calmness and happiness when you're around them. It's a soulmate, not just a mate. And soulmates may help you evolve, but they're not blatantly cruel. A soulmate is not blatantly cruel. A mate, think about it, a partner is someone who's connected with your soul. And if your soul is not cruel, how can you be a soul mate with someone who is cruel? They don't blame others. They don't use others for their own agenda. And if your soul and your way of being, your traits, is not someone who uses others for their own good or their own agenda, and you are not blatantly cruel, and you don't lie, cheat, manipulate, deceive, all these things, how can a narcissist be your soulmate? They can't, because that's not your soul. So the mate and the partner for your soul would not be someone who does that. But they make you think, feel, and believe that your soulmates are twin flames. So a soulmate can be anyone. It doesn't have to be a person who you're in a romantic relationship with. A soulmate can be anybody, someone who you see your souls are connected and aligned. The one thing that you can know about soulmates is that they vibrate at the same energetic frequency. And if you've done any kind of like spiritual work or anything, you'll notice that everything has a vibration, everything has a frequency. And love and joy, compassion, all of those are the higher level frequencies. And there's charts out there that are easy to access, and you can see love is one of the higher vibrations and frequencies. So everyone that you meet, regardless of where you're at in life, your vibration matches theirs. There's a connection. And the one thing to know about soulmates is that they vibrate. And so you think your soulmate could change. Who your soulmate was when you were 20 could be different than who your soulmate is when you're 50, because you may have grown and evolved and changed. You see this person as unique and powerful individual that they are, making you feel truly special, even if that relationship doesn't last. Who's to say a soulmate has to be one person your entire life? Just some food for thought. So soulmates do not describe narcissists in the least, is what I'm trying to say. So if you were once in a relationship, or are in a relationship with a person who you've seen as highly toxic and narcissistic, in the beginning of the relationship, they probably did things that made you feel that they are your soulmate, because you were expressing a true representation of who you are, and they were expressing this projection of who they are. So in the beginning, yeah, it's natural to feel like, well, they're my soulmate. But you got wrapped up in this fantasy of all of it. And now when all that is dropped and the discard and the devaluing begins, you start to see this, and you thought in the beginning, wow, I was certain that we were soulmates. I was so smitten, I swear, and I had all these feelings and experiences that I simply couldn't deny. And I don't know what happened. Well, what happened was that when things start to sour or turn down, you start to learn about their nasty, toxic ways, about their cheating, about their lying, about maybe their porn addiction, about maybe their financial deficit or position that they're in, where all the while you thought, there's no way, like, we've done all these things together, but you're finally seeing what it is. Then you start to wonder, was this person ever my soulmate? And then you start to question and doubt yourself. Well, there's some space there, and that's a journey into discovering, and that's the journey into healing. So, moral of the story, don't convince yourself that someone is your soulmate until you've been with them for a while, until you've had trials, until you've had tribulations, until they have earned your trust. In the beginning, you can't just declare, they're my soulmate. You have to go through experiences with people to really fall in love with them. Most people who've been with a toxic person or a narcissist think that they have fallen in love because of the love bombing phase. You're getting bombarded. Think about bombings. You're getting bombed with love. You're going through this love bombing phase, and you're thinking, oh my God, they're my soulmate. No. Just because someone says or does things that make you feel special, make you feel unique, make you feel like giddy and bonded to them, does not mean that they're sincere. A good, healthy relationship goes through trials, ups and downs. It goes through tribulations. It goes through opportunities for someone to show their true colors. And that's what falling in love is. Narcissists are creatures of economy. They don't often take new supply sources to the same thing. They will do these things to hurt you, to hurt the last person that they're in a relationship with. If you notice they've moved on to new supply, and you thought, wow, I was their soulmate. How is it we were soulmates and now they're doing all this stuff with this new person? Well, you weren't soulmates, okay? You can't have a soulmate with a narcissist. Their soul is different than your soul. So something that in the beginning seemed and felt very poetic is likely something that the narcissist uses with all of their new supply sources. And when you first met them, when you first came into their life, you were just like everyone, a new source of supply. So here's the next one, is the narcissist is not the runner that you thought was in. If you've looked up any research or anything about twin flame relationships, many empaths mistake this dysfunctional undercurrent of a relationship with a narcissist as those of this twin flame or this runner-chaser dynamic. One person's a runner and the other person's a chaser. narcissists will use and abuse and take advantage of this mistaken belief, using this as this window of opportunity. And that's what they see everything as, is an opportunity so that they can gain and the other person can lose. They will use this as a window of opportunity to disappear, to go stonewall, to silent treatment from the empath, so that they can groom other supply, future supply, on their own terms. So this includes like pretending to be in a committed relationship. The last narcissist I was in, never ever on social media was there ever any ounce or inkling that he was in a relationship. And we were together for years. We lived together. Our bills were together. We were basically married. I would never have married him legally, but they are doing this. They are grooming this. They're using this window of opportunity. And there were so many other supplies out there that I learned about later. Sometimes you learn about them when you're in the relationship. But it will include pretending to be in a committed relationship with you, this progressive relationship. You think and feel, wow, this is really going somewhere. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's not perfect, but we're working on it and it's going somewhere. All the while, they're secretly living this single life, like this single lifestyle behind the empath's back. I can't tell you how many experiences I had where there was times that I found out about that, and it is crushing. It's soul crushing to you because you weren't living life from that perspective, from that window. And they were. So they're keeping you over here, making you feel like, no, things we're working on, things are going the direction that you want them to go. We're going to have this life together. We're going to have a beautiful family, all the things that you want. We're going to go on vacation. Don't worry, I got you. I'll take care of you. And they're out there using this window of opportunity to be like, no, I'm single. Yeah. Narcissists they excuse themselves for this like covert, undercover behavior by claiming, I love you too. I love you so much. It's just scared. I'm just scared because I love you so much. I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want to hurt you. Hence why they feel inclined to run, or they'll go silent for weeks, or they'll leave and you won't hear from them. And you're like, what's going on? This is a cover. And an empath is the runner-chaser dynamic. It's easy to fall into or to not see. So even if you and the narcissist made these contracts together before this lifetime, if you've done any kind of spiritual work and you're looking into soul contracts and you believe that you and the narcissist made these contracts together before this lifetime, you have to just simply accept the necessity that you need to move on without them, and know that your life is worth living without all this toxic dynamicness, this push and pull, this run and chase. So in the spiritual scheme of things, and being with a narcissist is soul crushing. It crushes your spirit. It crushes many things. Many people believe that narcissists are put into our lives or your life to help us evolve into healed, cosmically aware individuals. And I truly, truly, deeply in my soul believe in this, that both of the narcissists in my life, all of the narcissists in my past life, were put into my life so that I could see the areas within me that needed to grow and heal and have some time spent in, instead of being that runner and the narcissist was the chaser. When you do the soul spirit work, you see that that's what comes up, and you have to let them go. You have to be able to sever those ties and those vows with the narcissist. And you may think, I committed to this. I said I was in this for the long haul. And for an empath, this is devastating. It is crushing. With an individual, with an empath who has strong moral codes, and this plays into religion sometimes, and is why people stay married, because it's not okay to get divorced. And you've made this connection, this bond, this vow with the narcissist that you will do whatever it takes, through thick and thin, through death till us part, or till death do us part. And you think, I can't leave. You've got to, in order to heal, to move on and accept this. So even after the relationship ends, you'll notice this energetic tie remains despite how much time elapses. That's why, people say, I haven't been in the relationship for 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, and I still can't get over it. I still have, I wake up and they're the first person I think about, and I just can't get out of bed, and my health is deteriorating, all because of this. So You may be apart from them now, but you may still feel energetically bonded to them. And this is draining. It feels heavy. And it's because causes these symptoms of anxiety, these symptoms of depression, these feelings of hopelessness. So it is critical to energetically cut these ties with the toxic person, with the narcissist, so that you can move on. And that is part of what we do at the subconscious level when working together, is to energetically cut those ties. And that's part of like what's within you. When I say go within to heal, that's part of what I mean. And you've got to understand this phrase, love conquers all. Loving yourself, loving what is healthy, what is healing, can conquer all. But just sheer love can't conquer all. You want to conquer and fix and change this narcissist, and you think I just need to love them more. It doesn't. So don't construe the definition or the meaning of that phrase, love conquers all, and have that allow you to stay in a toxic, unhealthy relationship for far, far too long, and much longer than you should. But most empaths, if you're an empathetic person, you hold this belief about love, and you hold this belief about relationships, that love conquers all. And if we simply love in a relationship, we'll get through this. It's not going to be easy, but we'll get through it. And this phrase, where there's a will, there's a way. Empaths, they take this phrase, where there's a will, there's a way, and love conquers all. And everyone does have some good in them. I can honestly say I see some good qualities and traits in my exes, in them. And I truly do believe that everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt, but not when it's repeated offenses. And that's what caused me to stay for as long as I did. But and if you feel like if you want to be forgiven, you must forgive. And empaths believe this. If I want to be forgiven, I must forgive. The ex didn't have family. The ex didn't have friends. So now if I abandon them too, I'm not perfect either. So the empath will think these thoughts and really take these phrases, where there's a will, there's a way. Love conquers all. And if you want to forgive, if you want to be forgiven, you must forgive. And these little phrases or nuggets of insight might apply in some areas of life, but you've got to be careful blanketing them and forcing them to apply in all areas of life, because these can be extremely damaging when they're applied to toxic relationships, because it gives empaths another way to torture themselves. And that's what you're doing when you stay in a toxic relationship. You're torturing yourself. You're keeping yourself connected to, tied to, bonded to the narcissist far beyond, well beyond the expiration date. Everything has an expiration date. And it's like, say, for example, you have a carton of milk in your fridge, and that carton of milk is the narcissist. Before the expiration date, you used it and everything was fine, and then, it gets to the expiration date and you're thinking it smells a little funny, it tastes a little funny, it starts to get a little chunky, that's nasty. It's like you're continuing to drink that milk. It's expired. And you're saying, no, it's still milk, it still came from a cow, or, I don't drink cow milk, but whatever kind of milk. And you're still drinking it, even though it's expired. If you stay, and if you believe these, love conquers all, in order to be forgiven, I need to forgive, you're drinking that old nasty milk past its expiration date. So it doesn't matter if you were with your ex for 2 years, for 20 years, for 50 years, wherever long. It's time to accept. You did everything within your power that you could to salvage the relationship, to fix the relationship when it started to get sour, to make it go better. But there's this misguided fear within you that you could have done something differently. And if you would have only had done that thing differently, it would have been happily ever after, like you've always wanted. And you could have changed the narcissist. You could have moved the goalposts for them. And it's sad, but that's the way the dynamic is for the relationship with the narcissist. So this explains, hopefully for you, and makes sense for you, why every single empath believes that there is something else that they could have done to save the relationship, to better the relationship. Know that this is a result of programming. This is a result of conditioning. And this overriding this belief, it has to be a part of your journey to healing. All of us are running on programming. Your programming is installed in you, kind of like a phone. You go buy a new phone, it has programs on it. You can add new apps and stuff, but every now and then your phone will update, or you gotta hit to upgrade and update and fix all the bugs. When's the last time you did that with your mind? Your programming is installed in childhood. You get attracted to narcissists because of these beliefs, because of how you've used them, and because of this programming. And you've got to update, reprogram, rewire this conditioning that you have had, this programming, this conditioning, as part of your journey to healing after having been with a narcissist. So really to go within, how is this? So how do you protect yourself from a narcissist? Well, you take that journey. It's gonna be scary and it's not gonna be fun. You're gonna have to feel all the things that you've been avoiding feeling in order to heal. You can't feel what you can't heal. So all the ways that you've numbed, suppressed, or depressed, all of these emotions that you don't want to feel, got to feel those. So you got to go within. You've got to learn to live a healthy, balanced life where you accept these painful truths, even though the narcissist cannot. But you make the choice to accept these painful truths. They can't be healed, because in order for that to happen, they need to first acknowledge. And I talk about that, the 3 steps to the 3 A's to healing are awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance. And I kind of joke that there's no wonder that the alphabet, the English alphabet anyway, begins with A. Acceptance, acknowledge, and awareness. You need to understand and accept that they're not going to change because they will not acknowledge that there's anything wrong with them or that they are wounded. Instead, narcissists use fear and they use obligation and guilt. It's called fog. I've done a video on this before. Fog, fear, obligation, and guilt are the 3 things that a narcissist use to keep their supply, their victims, and their targets perpetually catering to their every whim. And they overlook these lies and these broken promises because of this. So that's the journey to healing. I hope this shines some light on you if you are like, yeah, I'm an empath. And it's not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you allow others to walk all over you, use you, manipulate, and abuse you because of these traits and qualities. So empaths have phenomenal traits and qualities. The world would actually be much better off with more of them in there. But unfortunately, the world's filled with toxic people, and it's not your job to think that you can fix them. You can't. But it is your job to think and go on the journey to fixing yourself. You're welcome, Marlena. And I would love to connect with you guys if you're willing and ready to take the steps and put in the action and the work to get on that journey. Not a fun or easy one, but it's so worthwhile. So yeah, if you could do it alone, you would. And I hope these videos help you guys just have awareness of yourself and then give you a window of opportunity for yourself to take that next step. So please reach out, send me a message, or click on the banner to connect and schedule a time to chat. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.